So now we've established eligibility a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about how often can you use this? I'm eligible for a VA loan. Is it one and done? Do I have this eligibility for life? Can I use it 20 years after service? Does it ever expire? How does that work?
Yeah, great question. You can use it's unlimited times. You do not, it's not a one and done thing. You can literally use it your entire life. It's just going to be based on the eligibility and how much entitlement that you actually have. If you have full entitlement, if you have basic, or if you're already using a portion of that. But if you just free up, like just to kind of simplify it, if you free up your eligibility, let's say you sell your house, then you can use it over and over and over again for life.
Okay, so I've heard entitlement a few times. Now, that's it sounds like a loaded term to me because it sounds like there might be some money involved or some valuation. Not sure. If I'm hearing that for the first time, what is my VA loan entitlement? What does that mean?
Yeah, so basically what the VA does is they will guarantee a portion of the loan, as we touched on earlier, so that it reduces the risk to the lender and allows them to offer these loans. And that is so, and this is a very confusing aspect of it, but it'll, on your certificate of eligibility, it'll show 36,000. Well, it's all that is it's showing 25% of the loan. Well, at 25% would mean you could only get a loan of 144,000 then. So you have what's called a basic entitlement, and then you have a second tier or bonus entitlement, and that is actually what would allow you to go up to, in most cases, whatever the conforming loan limit is, which is currently around 805,000.
Okay, so that's part of why interest rates on VA loans are sometimes a little lower than conventional, right? That's because the lender knows that a portion of that is guaranteed by the VA.
Yeah, it's not a full liability that's falling back on the lender.
Yeah,
Right.
so they understand that, okay, because of this, that we can give slightly lower interest rates. As a rule of thumb, it's going to depend on, interest rates are highly variable, so we're not going to quote any numbers here, but it's going to depend on many. Yeah. But interest rates are going to depend on many factors.
Right.
But in general, as a consumer, I've found that when I've compared interest rates on VA loans compared to conventional, the VA loan is just a touch lower usually. So, and it has to do with that guarantee by the VA.
It does.
Okay. Okay, Craig. So we've talked a little bit about the benefits of a VA loan. What can the military community do to leverage those benefits to actually utilize this VA loan?
Yeah, good question, Ryan. So instead of having to save up, again, we touched on the fact that conventional, a lot of times if somebody wants to even have something comparable, they have to put down 20%. FHA, it's only going to be 3.5%, but it's still 3.5%. With a VA loan, not having to put down any money is going to get you into a home sooner and start building equity and wealth. And the other aspect of it is sometimes if you're trying to do a conventional loan, for example, again, you may not qualify because of your credit or your debt ratios. You may qualify, however, with a VA loan. And so it's just going to get you into that home sooner without having to do a bunch of credit repair potentially and without having to save money.
Okay. Now, that's a great benefit if you're looking to buy a home. But just because you can get into a home with no money doesn't mean you shouldn't save. You should absolutely have a little bit of cash set aside for all those startup costs that come with buying a house.
Absolutely.
So
yeah.
just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more.